I've seen some of your comments on my videos along with other people's videos where you guys thought that Native Instruments were done with Maschine. Well, here we are. We have a new update to Maschine, and I'm going to share what's new with it, and also if I think it's worth you updating to it if you are a Maschine 2 user. I've been using the Maschine 3 software for a while. I had an early version of it, and also I was involved with the beta testing for it, so I was aware of some of the features and all of that was coming with it. I just couldn't speak on it at the time, but now I can. If you guys are interested in checking this out, there's an affiliate link in the description below where you guys could go ahead and grab that. I appreciate all the support from the affiliate channels. And without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into this. Right now, my current setup, thankfully, I have the Kontrol MK3 right here. It's the S61, latest keyboard from Native Instruments. And yes, it does work with Maschine, and we're going to dive into that in a minute. I have my Maschine MK3 right here. You probably can't see it. And I also have the Maschine Jam over here. So that's my setup for this new software. Been having fun with it. They all work fine with it. The Maschine and the Maschine Jam flawlessly. The Kontrol, it has a few hiccups, but nothing really major. I'm gonna discuss that later on. Now, if you have the older machines, such as the MK1 and MK2, those do not work along with the micros. You have to have the MK3 Micro Maschine Studio, or Maschine Jam, or the Maschine Plus in order to use the Maschine 3. I know some of you guys are upset with that, but before I go ahead and switch over to the computer and give you a full rundown of everything, I'm just going to go through and let you guys know what is new with this Maschine 3 update. And it's just really the features list. I'm just going to run through it real quick, and I'm going to go ahead and break each one down into its own section where you can go through into the chapters and see for yourself how you do each thing, if you even need to see how to do it. So first things first, obviously, if you can see the screen behind me, the layout of Maschine is the same. However, the background is different. The background is now a dark theme, which I like. Some people may not like it. Don't know, I like it, but that's the first obvious thing that you will see. There is now MP3 importing, and I want to stress importing, not exporting. At this current time, you can only add MP3s into Maschine. Hopefully soon, sometime, we'll be able to export in MP3. We have stem separation for sampling, which is powered by Isotope's RX technology. We now have more Midi tools where you can go and make your beats inside of Maschine without the need for the actual hardware. You don't need the control, you don't need the machine. I'll show you guys that. There's now bounce in place functions, which will save you a lot of CPU, and also you can use that to do different things like make loops if you want to. I can show you guys that later as well. A new feature called Scene Tempo, which is exactly what it is. It's scene tempo, so you can change the tempo to each scene if you want to. There's new sounds with Maschine Central. Comes with over 700 drum sounds and 114 multi-sampled instruments for contact. Now you could buy Maschine Central by itself, or you could buy it as a part of the Maschine 3 bundle. And last but not least, we finally have basic integration of the Kontrol MK3 series keyboards with Maschine, and I'm so happy for that, because in the previous video I talked about how you couldn't use any of the transport controls or anything like that. There was nothing really showing on the screen, but now it's pretty much integrated. I'm going to show you guys that too. And before I even dive into showing you guys stuff on the computer in a moment, I just wanted to say that Native Instruments listened to the community with this update. I actually received surveys that I filled out. I had conversations with different people from Native Instruments who reached out and asked questions about what I would like. I know other people were involved with those questions and surveys and interviews, and a lot of the things that were mentioned in those conversations were implemented here. So I give a lot of kudos to them for that. That's a must. And for me, a big thing was the control integration. And I know some of you guys were saying, oh, it's not necessary, but to the Maschine users, it was definitely necessary, and we complained about it, and here we are. So it's making a step in the right direction. Can't wait to see what's coming up, but let's just go ahead and get on the computer and dive into some of these features. Okay, so now as you see, we have Maschine 3 loaded up. Nice dark theme here. Again, some people may complain about it. I like it. The layout is pretty much the same as it was before. So one thing I recommend you do once you update is just click here, go to File, go to your Preferences, and set everything up the way you had it in Maschine too, so that way everything will work the way you had it. For me, I had to go rearrange the colors and a few other things. I don't really remember what it was. You can go through and tweak it to however you want to have it. So one of the first features that I mentioned was that there is now MP3 importing. And again, I want to stress importing because you cannot export with MP3. Right now, it is still just WAV and AIFF for now. You know, hopefully that changes in the future, but since we have MP3 importing, we're headed in the right direction. So what that means is when I go over here, I can go to my files. Usually when I export beats just to send them out to different artists and stuff, it will be a MP3 instead of a WAV. So I have some beats here that I've made this year, and as you see, they're .mp3. So I'm gonna use this beat right here. So what that enables me to do, I can listen to it right there, drag it right here, bam, it's imported. I can go right here to sample, edit. You see the whole beat right here, along with the list of different tools that you can go through and sample this beat. Now, the other thing you could also do with this is, for example, I use Serato Sample to sample mainly. So I can go right here and load up Serato Sample. And once it actually loads, I can go and drag the MP3 over to it, and bam, the beat is there. I don't have to go through how, you know, sometimes you go through here, load a file, or I would open up Finder on another monitor and just drag and drop my MP3s into Serato Sample to make my beats. So another thing that I didn't mention while I have this open is that you can pin your VSTs, so you can go do something else and your VST will stay in place. So that's pretty cool. Forgot to mention that in my features. So now that we're on the topic of sampling, since I was talking about Serato Sample, you now have the option to get stems right inside of Maschine. Since this is a beat that I made, I'm just going to go ahead and hit stems and let it run its course. And I'm probably just going to let this go in real time. I was going to speed it up, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to let it run fully so that way you guys get a gist of how long it takes. I don't want to sit here and skip over it. Then when you get it, you'll say, oh, it took X amount of time. I just wanted you to see the full thing. And the stem separation is ran by the Isotopes RX technology. I may eventually do a video comparing the stem separation of Maschine to Logic Pro, which is the other DAW that I use, and also Serato Sample. I know Serato Sample is just a VST, but it also has great stem separation. And we are currently at 56%, so hopefully it doesn't take much longer. It does seem to take a nice amount of time. Just waiting for it. Waiting for it. 81%. And I'm only doing this, I'm not trying to drag it out, but I want you guys to actually see how long it takes. Right here, the beat is 2 minutes and 45 seconds. And we are almost done. All right, so here we go. It went over from this group to this group. And as you see, these are the drums, bass, other, vocals. I'm gonna hit the drums. You know, the drums will come in for a while, so let's go ahead and hit other. So the snap is still there a little bit, but it's not as powerful. But right here, this sounds good. Let me hit shift and mute. What's the other? That's the vocal. There's no vocals on that, so that's no big deal. Let's go to the drums. I'm going to go back over to Maschine and go to sample. But as you hear, you can hear the snap and see the waveform right here. But you still hear some of the vocals and other sounds in the background. So it's not perfect, but it's a start. I may do a comparison video later on about using Serato Sample and Maschine and Logic Pro when it comes to stem separation. But like I said, it's a step in the right direction to have stem separation in here. Next up, we have MIDI editing tools, which there are some new ones added to make it easier for you to make your beats without the need for any of the Maschine hardware. So before you could do it, but it kind of took a while. I'm going to load up a drum kit that I have. I'll take this one. Sorry, my stuff is doubled, but since I had the beta and then installed this, that's pretty much what happened. So right here, you just click, let's say on my kick right here, I'm just going to play it. Change my BPM a little bit. Slow it down. So I'll go right here, duplicate this. So this is a different pattern. And you know, I could click this, but it'll just go like that. And that's not what I want. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit draw. And then I could just then go here. Click it again to erase. And let's just say I want to make some rolls. I'm gonna go right here. Now, I don't really like that, so I'm just gonna go ahead and erase these real quick. I'm gonna go right here. I'm right clicking when I do that, and then you just go delete, or you just click it like I did there. I'm actually gonna go like this to speed it up a little bit more. And then let's put it here and just see how this stuff turns out. Yeah, see, that's better. What I was trying to do. But you get the point. You could just sit here and just do whatever. I'm just sitting here erasing all of it. Now, that's really what you could use for really your drums. There's some other tools I'm gonna show you in a second, like join, and then you have split that can come in handy for other things. The other thing you could do is also mutes. So all right, so I got that. So let's go ahead and open up a VST real quick. Keyscape is one of my favorites. So a new tool that was added is now you can use your keyboard on your computer for a MIDI keyboard. So the way you do that is you want to hit Command K. If you just want to know another way of doing it, you can go right here and click right here, but the shortcut is Command K. As you see, pencil mode as well. So it shows you right here which octave you're in. If you want to drop an octave, you can hit Z and it'll drop down the octave, X, drop up an octave. And right here, you're highlighted for whatever octave you're in. So now that I'm in this mode, I could just, and that's me playing on my computer keyboard. So one thing that I'd like to see is being able to lock this in a scale, such as having, you know, D minor and then put it on easy mode, like you can do with the complete control software, and also the control hardware itself. You could do that. That would be great. And you can change the root note and all of that. But, you know, for now, this is good though. Now, I mentioned being able to join and separate things. So let me show you that real quick. I'm going to click here. I'm going to go to draw. You know what? No, I'm not going to do draw. I'm going to hit select and just put it down like this so I can drag stuff out. And don't judge, I'm just making something for real. So what you could do is you can go ahead, hit split, and it gives you spots to split it. I'm gonna put it back on 116, so that way I'm just gonna make my split right here. There we go. I have to go up here to split that one, down here to split this one. Don't know why it's not highlighting it at this moment. All right, there we go. There we go. For some reason it just wasn't clicking. All right, we got that one. Can we get this one, please? This top one doesn't want to split, but anyway, I'm not gonna go back and forth with this because it could just be my mouse or something I'm doing wrong when I play it now. And then to join it, I could just go like this. Right click, join, and then join, and then drag join, and then it's back to this. So you get the point. You can use these tools to make your tracks without a MIDI keyboard. It's cool. It's cool to have. You don't need the Maschine to do your drums right now. That's definitely cool to have because sometimes you might just have your laptop and want to make something that you might not have brought your Maschine. So that's definitely a cool feature to have. Now with bounce in place, if you've used Maschine before, you've seen these before. This is where you can drag your MIDI. This is also where you can drag the wave. So for example, this pattern right here, let's just say it was giving me such a hard time. I could just go like this, and then I'm gonna go over to this and just drop it over here. So now it's over here. And I mentioned that you can use this as a loop, so you can go add your effects to it and all of that wonderful stuff if you want to. And as you see, it's in audio, so I can go. And automatically syncs up. So you can do that with anything. I just did it with my drums. You can also do it with your keys or whatever. I could do it right here, but I just showed you guys how to do that. And that will save you a lot of CPU as well. Like something like Omnisphere, if you have a lot of instances of it, can cause a lot of CPU usage where you just drag that over and just get rid of that instance or just mute it and you don't have to worry about it. So that's that. And then you also have MIDI. So if I want to put this MIDI on something else, same process. I'll just drag it and put it just down here somewhere. Actually, I thought it was going to pop up. I'll put it right here. And as you see, the MIDI is right there. Now with scene tempo, I'm going to go ahead and load up another beat that I actually have that I've worked on and just give you guys an example of that really quickly. Here's a beat that I worked on. I'll play it for 1 second. So that's that, right? 79 BPM. Let's just say I want my intro to be a different tempo. I'm going to right click on it, go to scene tempo. And now once I get back to that scene, as you see it's at 79, I'm just going to slow it down to 70 and then I'll restart it. And as you see, it went back up to 79. Now, what you do, you go right here, turn scene tempo off. Then when you go back, it's right back to matching whatever you had on the beat before you did that. So therefore, it's easy to make tweaks and stuff if you want to a specific scene with the tempo. you could have did things for the actual beat itself, like changing sounds and stuff if you wanted to beforehand. But right now, the scene is new. That's cool. Could be handy for some great intros, especially if you're using something like an arpeggiator and it's going slow, and all of a sudden it speeds up at the next scene. I think that's great to have. And next up, we have Maschine Central. I'm just going to go ahead and show you guys some things that's in it real quick. Not going to talk too much over it. Not going to spend too much time over it either. Again, you can get it with the bundle, or you can get it individually if you just want the sounds. Here's some of the drum kits. And those are the Maschine kits, but you can go over here and go through all of the different sounds. There's over 700 sounds here. So if you're interested in that, you can check that out. Even if you don't want to update, you can go ahead and grab this and it will, come with some great sounds. There's context sounds too, but I'm not going to go through all of that right now because this video is about the Maschine 3. And now we are to my favorite part of this update, and that is the Maschine integration with the Kontrol MK3 keyboards. So I'm going to go ahead and set up my camera, and we're going to go ahead and I'm going to show you how everything syncs and works perfectly with Maschine. Now I'm going to close this whole project out, start over fresh, and we're going to go ahead and, I'm going to show you guys what it looks like on the Kontrol keyboard and how it works with Maschine. All right, as you guys see, I have my Kontrol S61 loaded up right now. It is attached to Maschine, and before I actually switch over to a new blank project, I'm just going to show you the transport controls do work. So play the beat. The metronome is on. Turn it off. Turn it back on. You can turn on loop mode, and you can shift record to count in. And yeah, that's pretty much it. You have your play assist, which as you see, it goes to art mode. You can hit scales, and then you go through the different scales. One thing that happened was when I tried to change this one, when I'm in scale mode, it does not change. For whatever reason, it just stays on mapped. My other ones do work. The workaround for this is, though, if you want it to work in easy mode or just change the mode at all, you just hit shift right here, and then it says keyboard right there. You hit keyboard, and then bam, you're in the different mode. You just have to sync it up to where you had it before, and then you can change it however you want to change it. So that's pretty cool. I'm gonna hit shift and go back to plug-in mode, and then to turn this on, you just hit shift, and then bam, it's on. Same thing for ARP. You can go through, change your ARP however you want it. So if I turn it on real quick, as you see, I see a little bit of, I forgot what it's called, but like when the knob is changing when I'm not touching it. Haven't really seen that at all until the latest version of this. And again, this is a early copy, so it could have some bugs. They'll probably be worked out, but overall you can still use this. And when you are doing it, like how I went over here to keyboard, and it's using the standalone version of the chords and scales and play assist, you want to make sure that you don't have both turned on. Like this isn't turned on right now. If it was, it would be like that. Because if you leave this one turned on and then you leave the plug-in version turned on, it can get a little messy. And as you see right here, it says machine to let you know that you are in machine. Now, if I turn play assist off, go back into the plug-in, you can use that to see whatever you're using at the time and tweak the parameters. So right now it's on sampler, but if I go to my keys on the machine, it says keyscape. If I go to my lead, well, that's guitar rig. That's what I put on the lead, but go here, analog lab, and it also just has a few things you could tweak right there. You can go through the different menus right there and tweak them however you want to. And with this, I just wanted to let you guys know that when I'm using Maschine now, when I make sure I use play assist in the plug-in mode, because you know, hit shift, make sure it's in plug-in mode, whatever scale you set here will go to your machine. So if I set D minor, if I go to my actual machine, it is in D minor. If I tweak it from my machine, it changes on the controller as you see. So I'm gonna switch it to something different, F, and then you can go, just it's changing as I'm changing it on the actual machine. So that is one thing that I definitely like, because that was a great thing when it came to using the complete control keyboards. They sunk up with Maschine, if that's the proper term, flawlessly. Like I could set the scale here, it was working on Maschine. And now that we have that, I'm excited. Like I said, it's just that one bug where I can't change it right here, but hopefully that gets figured out soon. Not a big deal, not a deal breaker for me. I'm just glad that I can now officially use this inside of Maschine. This was something that a lot of people complained about when this keyboard first came out. I was one of them. It made me use Logic to make my beats, but now I can use it with Maschine. I enjoy Maschine. I know Maschine like the back of my hand. So this is a great setup right now. And with that, I'm gonna go ahead and dive into my final thoughts. Now, in my opinion, is Maschine 3 worth updating to if you have Maschine 2? The simple answer is yes. You want to move into the future, you want to have these different tools, of course, why not? It's definitely worth updating. Now, if you're somebody who does not have a compatible machine, then definitely don't update. Unless you're trying to upgrade your actual hardware, then of course I recommend it. And now is a good time to do it because things are moving into the future. But if you want to stay with those older products and still use them, definitely don't update. And outside of that, if you're somebody that's new to Maschine, I would recommend just going ahead and updating it, because if you're new to Maschine, 9 times out of 10 you have an MK3, a Maschine Studio, an MK3 Micro. So in that case, yes, I definitely say invest in moving into the future, so that way you can end up continuing to use your stuff long term. That's how I look at it. You want to get the latest, the greatest, and keep on moving. You don't want to get left behind, because now, like, even with stem separation, there's so many different DAWs that have that now, and the Midi functions, you have all that at your hands instead of thinking about using something else. So I would definitely say it's worth updating. And at the end of the day, no matter what I say, anybody else says, everybody has their own opinion, and nobody's going to be 100% happy. I could say I like it, somebody else could say they hate it. That's just the nature of these things. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion, but for me personally, this is a good update. I'm excited to just continue to work with it and see what's coming in the future. I believe it's a step in the right direction, and I look forward to seeing what happens with Native Instruments and Maschine in the future. I appreciate you guys for tuning in out there. Shout out to McBenjamins and Native Instruments. I appreciate you guys. Thank you all for watching out there. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Are you going to be updating to this? I think it's worth it. Let me know in the comments below. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Oh, and one more thing before I go. I will be updating the Maschine course that I have within the next week or so. So that'll be up there. If you already have my older course, I may bundle it in with that. Not 100% sure, but if I do charge for it, if you have my other courses, it will be at a very discounted rate. And if you're new, it'll just be a regular rate. Not sure what it's going to be yet, but I'm going to work on that. right after I finish this. So I appreciate you guys tuning in out there. Hopefully you all have a wonderful day. If you need help using Maschine, I have my video course up on teachable.com, and it's entitled How I Use Maschine. I cover everything from how I start a beat to finishing the beat. The link is in the description below, so if you need help with Maschine, go check that out. Hopefully you enjoyed the video.